Cambridge Analytica was that firm that was handling data where there was this massive data leak, regarding Facebook accounts, where it was data that was like illegally obtained through Facebook and then kind of ran through Cambridge Analytica. So what happened there with this recent revelation?
Yeah, so this is they reached a tentative settlement in their lawsuit. And as you know, there was like a class action lawsuit against Facebook for this Cambridge Analytica scandal, and they reached a settlement for the millions of users that were affected by this scandal. There's very little information being put out, I guess, because once they settled, they don't want to put out the terms of the settlement. But yeah, there might be more information that comes out in the upcoming weeks, but there's not really much information out there right now. We do know that Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg were, they were deposed for 14, 15, 16 hours in regards to this case, and there had to be somewhat of a good case against Facebook, since they were willing to settle. I don't think this was a mediocre settlement, because it affected 87 million Facebook users, and I think they were targeting like didn't they target like US during the Trump presidency? Didn't something happen there? They were targeting like Trump voters in this whole scandal.
Yeah, so this whole thing is crazy, but I just want to make a little aside here. You mentioned Sheryl Sandberg. A lot of people know her, and they know that she's really powerful and has a lot of influence within Silicon Valley. So she actually stepped down pretty recently from Facebook. I don't think she's affiliated with any type of managerial or board position within that company. So I think that's worth noting as an aside. Now, the thing with Cambridge Analytica that's very odd is this actually ties into Rentech, so Renaissance Technologies. And a lot of people don't know this, but Renaissance Technologies, obviously that's Jim Simons' hedge fund, but there was a guy there who actually became one of the most powerful guys within that hedge fund industry and the financial industry, and his name was Robert Mercer. And he actually left after 2016 because he was a Trump supporter and he wanted to pool resources behind Trump, and he created a super PAC to back Trump. And Jim Simons is a very well-known Democrat. So they actually fought, and they were like butting heads about this, and Mercer ended up leaving because of this. But Mercer's company, one of his other ventures, is Cambridge Analytica. And the thing with Trump that happened that people were saying is like kind of like sneaky or shady or whatever, is that Trump kind of like how he formulated his campaign in picking the states that he chose to run in. He went to Cambridge Analytica, and they basically did probabilistic, theorem-based modeling to figure out what states he should go to and attend in the form of, hosting rallies or giving like pop-up speeches there. And they build this, list of 10 to 12 states, that were kind of swing states or states that they could feel that he would win. And they went from there, and that's how he ran. And obviously it worked out for him, but that's kind of been how Trump's tied in. And it's very interesting how like Renaissance is tied in. And, obviously now we're looking at potentially, the whole legislation that's coming with that as well, in a sense that, I really do think that Facebook could face a situation where they're going to be tightly regulated in terms of handling of user data, because it looks like people in Congress are finally starting to wake up to the fact that Facebook was mishandling user data, turning it over to private enterprises in exchange for money, under the table, of course. And of course, Facebook's terms of service, just neglects to list that this stuff was going on to begin with. So
yeah, I mean, I think, as a user, you should be, if you have any sort of logical reasoning skills, you should, be able to figure out that this is being done. I mean, you look at every single service, it's disguised under privacy. Snapchat, oh, it's just, your pictures are deleted. No, they're not. They're on a server. the pictures that you send aren't, magically deleted after 3 seconds. Oh, Facebook, they said like they had a whole scandal with their site. You put on your privacy settings and you hide your timeline from people. All the people could still see your timeline. They do that all the time as well. And a lot of these companies, they promise privacy, but then when it comes down to it, they don't attain to their own terms and conditions. They go against what they're supposed to be doing. But I think, I'm at this point, right? After scandal, after scandal, after scandal, I think you have to be quite naive to think that your information is private. And I think at this point, there shouldn't be any sort of restitution or settlements for it, because I think it should be well known. I think, you don't if you don't know that, you're a moron. You mean you're blindly following it, then you shouldn't get any sort of settlement from these organizations for breaking privacy, because it's pretty much well known that they're doing that at this point.